Hello, everyone. So I'm trying to live stream on my iPad here, which is why it looks a little different. Obviously, the streaming quality is not the best thing in the world, and I'm trying to figure out whether or not live streaming is going to work on the iPad. So Patrick Nicholson says that the stream will begin hello. Is the stream working? So I'm currently doing this via the iPad, which is why the quality of the stream is kind of not the best. But I don't have a computer in front of me, and perhaps I'll just talk to you guys and not focus on the computer today, which might be a little bit better. So let's see. I'm trying to light here. So I don't really have anything prepared for this iPad streaming. Looks like there's about 70 of you guys on the channel. So what are you guys doing today, and where are you guys watching from is something I'm kind of curious about. All right, so we have Davey Nabarros. Hey, Brian, just wanted to thank you. Got my first iOS project, and I couldn't have done it without you. Yeah, sure. So iOS is, a pretty difficult platform sometimes to build on, and getting out your first project is one of those major milestones for kind of stepping up your iOS development game. And once you have your first application done, it's very, very easy to build a next application, and then after a month, perhaps half a year, you'll look back, and then you'll realize how kind of how far you've come in terms of your development skills with Swift, Objective-C, and Xcode. All right, so man, we have a ton of you guys from various locations around the world. Wow, we have India, Tennessee, Richmond, Ireland. I haven't really seen a lot of Ireland folks in the channel. So we have Istanbul, Germany, San Bernardino, UCLA, Amsterdam, all right, Australia, Springfield, Mexico, Mongolian, Azerbaijan, okay. So I have a couple of questions here which I kind of want to talk about. A lot of you guys have been asking me about WWDC, and I guess more specifically, you guys have been wondering whether or not the scholarship is something that I can help you guys out with. And so the scholarship program is something that I'm not terribly involved with, or at all, really. So how many of you guys are trying to go for that WWDC or that Apple Developer Scholarship Bootcamp, whatever they are calling it? So Jay, please do not, spam the channel with your same questions over and over. So the WWDC thing is something that quite a few people have asked me about. And so inside my chat, a lot of you guys are wondering whether or not I can help you guys out with the scholarship program. I don't really know what the program requirements are, and I don't really know what are the best ways of getting into the program. But I know there's some kind of playgrounds requirement where Apple wants you to submit some kind of project or some kind of playgrounds project that demonstrates how well or how excited you are about Xcode iOS development. So I think they want to just see if you can program in iOS. I imagine that a lot of the folks that are applying for those like scholarships are probably not professional developers, right? So the competition is definitely not as fierce as some of these other programs. But so the weird part about the playgrounds environment is that it's not very visual. Everything that you build out is kind of just rendered out in text. There are a couple of things that allow you to render out images onto the playground's display on the right side, which could make it very interesting in terms of what you can build. So I think you can render out charts on the right side. You can render out images. You can render out how many iterations of a loop that it goes through. There's actually a lot of different things you can do in the playgrounds. So that's that. Maybe I should give my computer streaming one more shot to see if I can do this again. So, Anar Babayev, why did the video stop? I don't know. Something is going on with the YouTube live streaming servers right now, where it doesn't seem to be receiving a lot of the video data that we're sending to it. I can't really tell what's going on. I'm pretty sure YouTube is fully aware of this problem. So yeah. Okay. So we have Wenzhong Zheng. Have you ever tried Twitch TV for live streaming? And so seeing how YouTube is a little bit of a struggle sometimes for the live streaming. Actually, YouTube's been very relatively okay. Today is the only kind of live streaming issue that I've run into. And so I might want to give Twitch.tv a try. The only issue with Twitch is that it's not connected with YouTube. So all of you guys that receive the notification for joining this live stream probably will not be able to get that notification. So it's difficult to have support for Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Okay, so I'm just trying to go through the comments here. So we have, do I use TDD? I don't know, not really. React Native, WWDC. So I haven't actually gone to WWDC myself. As you guys probably know, the tickets for WWDC is quite restrictive in terms of financial restrictions. How much is the ticket right now? I think it's like $1,500. It's kind of crazy. I don't really know who pays for that, but apparently around 30,000 of the developers around the world pay to get those tickets. So something about conferences is that most companies in the world, software companies, will pay the developers at their company to go to these conferences. So most of the attendees are not actually physically paying for the ticket out of their wallet. That's kind of why they're allowed to go. WWDC is going to be held at San Jose, California this year. So I believe it's San Jose. Can we meet you if we attend the WWDC scholarship? So there's this thing called ALT, AltConf, which is the alternative conference for WWDC, and perhaps I'll go there and just check it out. What's going on. So the noise that you guys hear in the background is the my kind of refrigerator. I'm in the kitchen right now, where I have my iPad hooked up. So from Brian West, while working for a company, what percentage of the time are you actually coding? So it really depends on the company that you're working at. I guess on average it's about like 60 to 70%. The rest of it is kind of left for meetings with your superiors or other teams in the company to try to figure out what kind of features they want in their software. For example, if the marketing team wants to track how well their marketing efforts, the Facebook investments, and all that stuff, how well it's performing, then the application needs to be tweaked a little bit to see whether or not that data is confirming their their expectations, pretty much. Yep, so it seems like this stream is coming up and it's on and off. Am I hungover? No, I'm not hungover, but I'm super tired. Yeah, I was just trying to prepare the live coding for you guys last night, and it kind of went a little bit later than I had hoped. So this morning we lost 1 hour in the United States because of daylight savings. So waking up today, I didn't expect to wake up this early. Let's just put it that way. So we have Scotty D616, best camera for YouTube. So the best camera for YouTube is whatever camera you have, really. I currently use a Panasonic GH4, but it's pretty expensive. It's about $1,500 for the entire setup. I would not really recommend buying it because it's so expensive. However, the quality is the quality of the Panasonic GH4 is pretty amazing. That's pretty much all of most of the videos. I think probably 99% of the videos are shot in that camera. If you guys understand lenses and cameras and how they work, it's pretty amazing. So quite a few questions from you guys about pretty much everything today, huh? So I see something about $120,000. I feel your Hi from Venkatesh J. I am an experienced iOS developer, and I really feel your tutorials are great. Got a quick question. If $120,000 for an iOS developer with 2 years of experience is all right in NYC. So I think anything above $100,000 for a developer is quite a bit of money, right? And after you break the $100,000 mark, at least for me, I felt like every time I got another $10,000, $20,000 in salary, it didn't feel as as if I had really earned all that much more. It's a strange thing. So when I went from like $100,000 to $150,000, it didn't feel very significant at all. But maybe that's just me. Yeah, that's the other strange part about money. After you've broken a certain ceiling, the more money you get, it doesn't really feel as much of an impact anymore. So you want to be me when you grow up? That's not. That's not a. That's not a high bar. You guys can do better. So Lawan Brown says that probably because I don't spend it. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't really spend a whole lot of money on much, really. And the reason is because I think I value experiences a little bit more than physical goods. And in the past, I haven't really been smart enough to figure out how to make the most of make the most out of the money that I have. Yes, 100K isn't as great as it once was. The funny thing about 100K is, at least for me when I was going to college, so let me start off. Way back then, family grew up really kind of not poor, but definitely not a lot of money to go around for, silly things like toys and video games and fancy cards, right? So growing up in such a family, you sort of have this ideal as to what money means, and I think graduating college, 100K was a lot of money, and I never really thought that I would be able to earn $100,000 a year in terms of salary. And so when I got my third job, and I was being paid about like $90,000, that was a big milestone for me, at least. And once I was able to reach 100K plus, it didn't feel as significant to me anymore. Mo money, we come across mo problems we see. Yeah. So hopefully you guys that are applying to the WWDC scholarship will be able to get the scholarship, obviously. Do you have any hobbies that are helping you to code better or are improving your coding logic? So I wanted to make this video about some things that I've noticed about coding and language learning, sort of spoken language learning. So I studied, so I grew up in the United States, right? Born and raised in California. And I studied I started studying the Chinese language when I was about like 18 years old as an adult. And for those of you guys that have also picked up a second language as an adult, can tell how hard it is to learn a second language, right? So, especially a spoken language, because it's very difficult to get practice and to know the slight nuances and differences between your native language and a second language. And what I've noticed about learning Chinese is that every time you practice speaking the language, it's kind of like the compiler telling you whether or not things are wrong. And that's similar to a lot of languages that you learn as an adult. It's really helpful if someone can correct you constantly. And that's what the compiler really does for you as you're programming in Swift, JavaScript, or Java, PHP. The compiler is constantly fixing your errors, and it's constantly reinforcing the fact that you are not 100% correct. So while learning the Chinese language, it's best, or learning any spoken language, it's really helpful when something is there to correct you constantly. Yeah. So yeah, no, I don't speak Mandarin fluently. I learned it when I was like 19 to 20, and then I've been studying it for like 10 years. Not constantly, but picking up a spoken language is kind of similar to picking up a programming language, I think. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy languages a lot. Okay. Hello, Samuel Bio. Good to see you in the live chat. So, Scotty D616. Yo hablo Yo hablo español por 2 años. 2 years. Yeah. Yes, language learning is a lot of fun. Like I was able to pick up Spanish in my high school days pretty easily. So Zuckerberg speaks fluently now. So Lawan Brown's comment here. So Zuckerberg speaks with a very typical American, like white guy accent, which isn't bad. The thing about his Mandarin is that you can tell right off the bat that it's not very native. Because like any other learned language as an adult, when you start speaking it, what you do is you translate the English into Chinese, and it's like really, really terrible sounding. So yeah, I would say Mark Zuckerberg's Chinese is pretty bad. I mean, it's good for him. I guess, yeah, it's good for like an American white guy to be able to speak it like that. But in terms of like whether or not you can call it good, if you're a Chinese person, you can tell it's pretty bad. Okay. What is my daily routine? How do you keep yourself updated? So my daily routine for developing these video tutorials is to try to produce one video a day, which sounds easy, but it takes a lot of preparation. This channel is obviously not a vlog. So the vlogs that you see, perhaps Casey Neistat or whoever's vlog that you follow, a lot of work goes into producing the content. And I think vlogs are a little bit easier to make because the content is just shot as you go about your day. But even then, it takes 5 to 6 hours to shoot all your shots, cut them, edit them, and then upload to YouTube. It's not an easy thing to upload a video. For example, all the videos that are about 15 to 20 minutes long on my channel, they take about probably 3 to 4 hours to complete. Yeah. So it takes about 3 to 4 hours to make a 15 to 20 minute long video, which I'm trying to cut down the time, but I just cannot find a better process. Because the whole video shooting process involves preparing the material, which probably takes the longest, and then doing the actual recording for 15 to 20 minutes. Even though the clip is only 15 minutes, it probably takes closer to 45 to an hour long to complete. And then we have editing the video, which takes roughly 30 minutes to about 45 minutes, and then uploading it, setting the tags on YouTube, creating a thumbnail, setting the metadata, the title, and then finally uploading it to my website as well, so I can make sure the projects are available on the website. It takes quite a while. So when you guys so I get a lot of questions like, oh, can you make this or that video? Perhaps some of you guys don't understand how much work goes into producing these videos. So we have Anthony Smet with the question of what will be the next course on the website? Well, I'm looking to release the Instagram course next week. And it's going to be about 35 videos or so. And I don't have any of the videos recorded. I have everything set up to start recording. And once I have about 5 videos out or so, I'll release the course. And then the thing that I want to do is to also release an app on the App Store that allows you guys to sort of watch the videos on your iPhone, iPad, or Android devices. So once I have that ready, it'll make the whole channel just that much better. So is YouTube your main job or just a backup? So YouTube currently is what I'm doing sort of full time, and then I have some contracting jobs as well. But I'm more interested in YouTube for the time being. It's kind of fun, but at the same time, it's also pretty stressful. Just like any other job that you have in the world. And the difficult part about YouTube is that once you have so many followers, it does become sort of a responsibility to make sure the content you put out there is somewhat reliable, and that you're not just pulling things out of your ass and putting it online. So once I have the Instagram course up, what I want to do is to just release a couple of videos a day, so like 3 to 4 videos a day, because that's the rate I can record those paid courses. So the thing about paid courses on my website is that I can record whatever style I want to kind of teach at. It's a little different compared to YouTube, because on YouTube I have to really kind of simplify a lot of the things on the YouTube channel just so people can understand them. And on the website, the video courses that you have to pay for, those videos go a lot more into detail, because I know that the folks that are paying for those videos are really interested in learning the content. So the content there is much more detailed compared to what I put out on YouTube. And that's just the slight differences of kind of paid and free. But the content that I put on the YouTube channel, it's also very, very detailed. It's just I have a lot more freedom on my website in terms of what people are paying for. I can produce a lot of content a lot faster as well. So the Instagram course will be a little bit more expensive probably than the last course, which is the Kindle basic training course, which is about, $20 right now on the website. So if any of you guys are interested in purchasing the basic training course on the website, you guys can go to the website. And that course just goes through a lot of the basics about Swift, such as classes, optionals, table views, collection views, and some styling of your application. So that's kind of that. And the Instagram course it's going to go into much more detail on how to build out the entire, well, not the entire Instagram app, but a lot of the important parts of it. So best program to make Blue Yeti sound better. Well, the thing about the Blue Yeti microphone is that you have to speak into it really closely, right? What I use for my audio editing in my workflow is this program called Adobe Audition, and that has turned up the levels for the lows and the highs a little bit. Gives it a little bit of bass and makes it sound a little clearer. So, so Anthony Smith, so about $50. Yeah, the course is aimed to be roughly about $50, and I think it's a pretty solid deal for roughly 30 or 40 videos. And you're definitely going to learn a lot. Ended up having a ton of view controllers on my storyboards and compile. Okay, so this is a storyboard question again, which is the first question that I'm going to answer about storyboards. Or is that a comment or a question really? I ended up having a ton of view controllers on my storyboard, and the compile time took like 20 minutes. Switched everything to programmatics and deleted all the storyboard stuff. The compile time finished in 30 seconds. I think 30 seconds. Well, I guess your computer is not a MacBook Pro. So when I was working for Touch of Modern, we had storyboards in the first version of the application. And the build process took, I don't know, like 20 to 30 seconds with the storyboards. And then when we switched out, or when I switched everything to programmatic approach, it decreased the build time by a couple of seconds every time I took out one storyboard. So, first storyboard reduced it to about 17, and then we had 15, and then we had 10 seconds. And then eventually we got it down to about like 6 to 7 seconds. Which, if you think about it, every time you are putting new code in your code base, that time quickly adds up as you're developing more and more features for your program. Why do you have such big hands but such small ears? I have no idea. I guess I have to ask my parents for that. Even then, they probably won't know. Okay. Yeah, so the Instagram course will also be using Firebase, which, how many of you guys are Firebase developers? Did you guys hear about that new feature that they released a couple of days back about, was it functions? It was the name they gave it was really, really strange. It's called like functions, Firebase functions, is that what it's called? It's totally not market friendly. But the idea is, remember the good old days of parse, and remember storing things onto the parse servers? You could actually manipulate the data a little bit based on certain functions that you apply onto your parse server. So Firebase is doing pretty much the exact same thing. They're also allowing you to include custom functions that you can execute onto your servers. All right, Flame65, good to see you again. I hope you enjoy your Sunday too. Good old days of parse. I mean, when parse actually existed as a supported service from the company Parse and not the Facebook guys. All right, good to see you again, Anthony Smith. Socket.io client versus Firebase. Haven't really found a good Socket.io client for iOS. So we can use Realm mobile platform. So actually, went to the Realm developers conference last 2 weeks, or 2 weeks ago, and during the conference, some lady had this e-cigarette that was sitting right in front of me, and the e-cigarette caught fire. Pretty much, it like started exploding in her hands, physically like exploded. So that was a very, very scary experience at the Realm conference. So I really wanted to learn more about Realm, but after that incident, I kind of left the conference immediately. Hello from Germany, huh? Hello, Josh. We're here live from San Francisco. Am I near an airport? Where? Yes, I am actually very, very close to an airport. About like 4 miles from the airport, San Francisco Airport International. And something that you guys might hear in those YouTube tutorials is that the airplane often flies right above me, and you'll hear this loud airplane sound as it whizzes by. Alright, so we have Ibrahima Kiss. Do I have any tutorials on reactive programming, like using RX Swift and RX Cocoa in app? So no, I haven't really done any reactive programming for iOS. React.js is what the website for letsbuildthatapp.com. We use React.js to build out that entire website, which is how I learned React myself. I think reactive Cocoa and reactive programming for iOS is quite a bit different, though. But the underlying concepts are kind of still there. Linked list BST Huffman coding from Ryan James. Yeah. The algorithms the algorithms for every Friday are a little difficult to create as well. Sometimes you just don't really know what type of algorithms to go through. And some of the algorithms that I looked at myself seem a little difficult, so I haven't been able to put out the difficult ones. Alright, so Ryan James says, how important are those data structures in the real world? So the tree data structure is, I don't know, I would say at probably 3 out of the 4 jobs I've had to use trees quite a lot. And then linked lists is how you would deal with stacks, and I've had to deal with stacks probably, at half of my jobs. So I would say data structures are actually one of the most important things about programming that you need to learn. Is discrete math important? When people say discrete math, I don't know exactly what they mean, really. You won't build a house with just a hammer. That is correct. Let's see. Good news from Turkey. Okay. Can you look more on UIKit programmatically? Don't really know what that means. Okay. We have from Houston. First time joining the live chat. Enjoy the videos. I've learned a lot. We'll be launching 2 audio apps soon. I use Realm on an Android and iOS app for my job. It's super, super nice. Pretty much all of our data and objects are stored in Realm now. It's pretty interesting that we have Realm, Firebase, and Parse all available to developers on both iOS and Android, and also the web. So it's a good time to be a developer these days. How can I go from San Francisco to San Jose Convention Center as a foreign? What do you mean? I mean, if you're in San Francisco, you can take the Caltrain that goes all the way down to the San Jose Convention Center. I guess getting to San Francisco might be the difficult part. Okay. Do I know anyone who used Udacity? So I was recently contacted by Udacity, and a couple of the folks want to collaborate on building something on Udacity. I don't know too much about Udacity, so I have to do a little bit more research on those guys to figure out whether or not a collaboration will be a good idea. So hopefully I can do something with those guys to make iOS learning a lot easier and a lot more fun compared to what you'll see inside of classrooms. So I don't know if some of you guys can tell, but I'm very anti institutional education. So I really hate school in general. Udacity is expensive. Yeah, Udacity, I think the tuition for Udacity courses are expensive. Udemy is affordable because Udemy has a pretty crazy pricing scheme for instructors. You pretty much can't sell anything on Udemy for more than $10, which sucks for creators because we take hours and hours, days and weeks to create courses, and you just see it sell for $5 sometimes. A little disheartening, a little disappointing. Can I get the basic training course for free? I'll pay you back at the end of the month in sweets. Well, it is only $20 for the basic training course, and quite a few people have purchased it already, and a lot of the folks that have purchased the course have enjoyed a lot of the content in it. So if you're able to purchase it, that'd be great. If you can't, just watch the free content on the channel. I'm pretty sure recursion takes more memory than loops in the real world, so they don't get used much in high-level languages. Functional programming is a different story. So the thing about recursion is not so much or what I find about recursion that is useful in the real world is that certain things do require recursion to make your code a little bit easier to read. So for example, if I have to fetch 10 different things from my AWS servers, I can apply recursion to fetch those 10 things really easily. And if they happen asynchronously, it's also a lot easier to make sure everything kind of processes correctly. Doing it in kind of the standard programming style is a little bit strange. So recursion has its place in the real world. How do you impress an employer through the assessment test app? Well, when the employer wants you to create a kind of a test app, kind of make sure you follow all their rules and you also go above and beyond in making sure the app works out. Can I be a designer and a developer? This might be a broad question, but can you give me your opinion? The thing about developers and designers, in my opinion, so I don't think I can be a designer. Right, so why can't I be a designer is because I don't really have the patience to design things on the screen. I started out when I was 16 using Photoshop, and I really loved design and making things look really good on the screen, right? But after a while, after seeing other people design, I just realized how much better they are at it and how much patience they had for creating good mocks, applying good colors, fonts, spacing, all the things that make for a good design. I don't have the patience to do it. And I believe designers have the same problem where when they're trying to become or write code, a lot of designers don't have the patience to understand how the program is kind of broken in a lot of places. And that's the problem that I see that exists on kind of both sides. I think that I'm missing something with completion blocks. Sometimes it returns before a complete task from Firebase. Yeah. So I go through the completion block, or how completion blocks work in the basic training course. You can check that out if you want. Yep, recursion is cleaner. That's definitely true. Hello from France. Kurusan Yasuke. Kurusan Yasuke. Kurusan. What is your opinion about native apps versus hybrid apps? Well, definitely go native if you can. And go hybrid. Hybrid, meaning try React Native. I think that's a pretty good up-and-coming ecosystem for developing mobile apps. Which will be the next course? Can you make it with Firebase? And yes, next course will be Instagram, and it does use Firebase to store users as well as images that you upload to the Firebase or Instagram application. Am I working for any startup? And can I work for you? So one thing I recommend for Ibrahim Ayad here is to never type in all caps. When you type in all caps, it makes it seem like you are, 10 years old. And also because the human eye recognizes letters in patterns, it's very difficult to read all caps. So it takes me, 3-4 times as long to read a sentence that is in all caps because I cannot recognize the word structure pattern. How much should you ask as a starting salary? Well, ask for how much you think you are worth. Thoughts on the Spotify SDK? I know they have a couple of SDKs, so I don't know exactly which one you're referring to. Hello from Dubai. Hello. Thanks a lot for the design of your question. Yeah. Do I like Linux? So I use... In the past, I grew up with a PC, and then I switched over to the Mac because that's what you need to develop an iOS app. So that's that. How do I approach a problem? How to use Apple documentation to solve a problem? Well, the thing about solving problems in iOS and programming in general is if you don't like solving problems, you're going to hate programming. So, I really enjoy breaking problems down into much smaller problems and figuring out how to put together the entire solution in one really simple and clean program. It's kind of what I enjoy about building out applications. Okay, do you even lift? Yeah, I don't lift at all. I'm not a weightlifter. I don't go to the gym. I want to say thank you for all of the hard work you do on this channel. I spent years trying to learn iOS development, and nothing made sense till I deleted the storyboards. Yeah, so I get this question about storyboards a lot, or this comment about how hard and difficult it is to build iOS applications using storyboards. And I actually don't think that is the case for many people. I think storyboards are easy in a lot of regards or respects. But I do understand that it is also at the same time an entirely different thing that you have to learn just to put something on the screen. And a lot of times seeing the code actually helps a lot more than the visual editor of a storyboard and interface builder. Okay. Anan Rivik. I'm just here to say thank you. Your tutorials helped me in my everyday work. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. And where are you filming this video? So this is coming straight out of my iPad Air 2, which is why the quality of the camera is not all that great. It is not a $2,000 camera lens setup. Can I practice iOS programming in Windows? I don't really understand why people have that question. like if you are trying to build a Mac app, you can't really do it on a Windows machine unless you set up a VM, and that's a little bit too much trouble for me. How many hours do you work a day, and is being a developer more flexible than other jobs? So being a developer full-time, I think I work probably 10 to 11 hours a day sometimes. So it's more difficult than other jobs in terms of how many hours you work. It's definitely more than 8 hours a day. You can ask any developer out there. It's always more than 8 hours a day. And developers do not get paid overtime. So the amount of salary that you make, it's not as much as you think, because it's all the overtime hours and also the weekends that you have to work, and then all the side projects that you have to be able to build in order to make sure you keep your skill set up to date. That's the sort of the charm, and at the same time the difficulties of being a good developer. You have to be constantly hungry about learning new tools. Was there a specific set of reasons you chose iOS, location, demand, etc.? I believe you are an SF, so it makes sense. So the reason why I chose iOS over, for example, backend development and browser JavaScript development is because at the time, during 2013, 2012, it seemed like mobile development was really coming into a golden age of demand and developers being seeked out. So I think going into mobile development in terms of being lucrative as a job has definitely worked out. So I guess money was the deciding factor for me for going into iOS development. In hindsight, I think it was a good decision. But one thing I do regret is not going into the browser world of things until like last year, because the JavaScript programming is actually very interesting. Building out really good websites that are responsive is very difficult to do, but it's very rewarding at the same time, because if you can build a website, you can build pretty much anything. Okay, so we have 53 minutes on this live stream. Let me check my iPhone here. Alright, so we have 2 purchases from the folks that are interested in the basic trading course today. So I can see the sales on my phone and also how many users are logged into the website. So what I do on my phone a lot is that so I track all the users that have signed up for the website, and also how many purchases I am getting through the website. So being able to build an application that monitors how the website is performing in terms of sales and just user engagement and growth is very, very helpful, because I have my phone everywhere I go. I can tell how many people are interested in the work. So let's see. I think we have lost the Twitter series tutorials somewhere in the middle. Yeah. So like I said earlier, it takes about 4 hours to produce a video. So producing these tutorials are pretty much consuming my life entirely. Yeah. So the reason why it takes 4 hours is because I want each video to be very, very high quality. So that's something I have to deal with. And a lot of the folks that come onto the channel and ask for, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? And can you also do this, and that? I guess folks don't really understand how time consuming it is to kind of prepare for all of these videos. And then some days when I try to record something, I can't even record like 5 minutes or 10 minutes worth of video. And the reason for that is because, as you probably a lot of you guys know, a lot of programmers are not the best presenters. I'm definitely not a very good presentational speaker, I would say. So it doesn't come naturally to create video content. But, being able to put up something on YouTube that people are interested in watching is definitely helpful. Or it's a rewarding, very satisfactory feeling that you get. Keep up the good work. Okay. So how many of you guys are still in the chat here? What do you guys plan on doing for the rest of the day? I'm kind of interested because myself, I'm going to head to the gym a little bit later to play some basketball. And I don't know whether or not the live streaming is still going on. Seems like it has died off a little bit here. So while I check on the stream here, want to see how many of you guys are still on the live chat. Okay. Okay. Alright, so perhaps the live stream is not going on or is not being streamed anymore. So I'm going to end it here. Hopefully some of you guys are still able to catch this at the very end. And yeah, today was a good live stream. Hopefully I answered some of your questions on the chat. And apologies if I didn't get to your question, because there's quite a few of you guys in the chat, so it's very difficult to get to every one of them. And hopefully next week you can join the live stream again, and we'll see if I can, address whatever issues you guys are having in your everyday lives. So enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.